So we can have all of those passions, that ambition, and that drive to, even like the budget to make something happen and to start something from the ground up that is really meaningful to us. But sometimes what keeps us from reaching our full potential are the fears, the limiting beliefs, those blockages, the things that make us feel like we just aren't good enough to accomplish what we want to accomplish. And, they can really affect us subconsciously, and we can hold on to them, not even knowing that we're holding on to them. And they can set us back for months, even years. We can hold on to those things again, not even knowing that. And we can also wonder why, like, why is it just like not, why is it not working out? I'm putting all of this effort into it. Why? It's been 5 years, it's been 10 years. Why does it feel like I'm not making progress? And I was there for the past 4 years in my jewelry brand, my jewelry business. And it wasn't until like earlier this year that I noticed I was holding myself back. I was holding on to those beliefs. I was afraid of the success, and like it took a lot of like subconscious like clearing and recognizing, doing like that subconscious work, and doing like the healing work to realize that I was just afraid. I was letting those fears hold me back, and they were like still plaguing me in the back of my mind, and I didn't realize it. And when I decided to actually face those fears, to come, face to face with them, and to pick them apart, I was able to build a healthy mindset for myself, and it made it, I wasn't afraid of being successful. I wasn't afraid of getting daily sales every day because I knew I could handle it. And I wasn't thinking, okay, what if people hate this? Like, what if all of those fears were gone? And I'm going to get more into that today, get more into those fears and also my experiences. But I am Julia. I am here. I have my notes here with me just so I can, stay on track and make sure I'm giving you guys the right information, because I can really get off track too. And, I'm here to help guide others to live in their authenticity. And part of living in your authenticity, in order to do that, is breaking through those fears and, removing the things that are holding you back. And, sometimes there are those beliefs, those things that people told us that we have collected over time. We've kind of like collected them like trophies. And there are things that we were taught maybe were possible for us, so we should stay in, like that little box that is safe. And the things that were impossible, that we shouldn't strive for, things that were practical and impractical, in order to keep us small and keep us distracted, to keep us off of our path and off of the course that we were going towards and what we were called to. And those things are just that. Those things that we were taught are just that. They are lessons, they are teachings from other people, um, who lived life in their own beliefs, which we all do. But, some people live in them whether they are healthy or not. And what I've experienced a lot of are like subtle jabs, small moments that were downplaying my ambition and my skill set, because of what the other people, I'm trying to say the other people around me were sort of telling me it was possible. And if you've been watching me for a while, you know that a lot of the, I wrote the word down here, the opposition, because it's not exactly like outwardly, you know, sometimes it is, but it's not always like that outward, I don't believe in you, you can't do it. Um, Even though sometimes it was that a few times, but it is more of, you might relate to this, but it's people really thinking that you can't achieve something, but they're just going to watch you. They're not going to help support you and help you get where you need to go. They're just kind of going to sit there and see what happens. So a lot of that opposition came from the people that I was closest to and that I've been closest to. And I went to design school and was told I wouldn't make anything of myself. Again, sometimes it is those things, they're just outright, you can't do it. And there were other things, I was told to get a real job, to do something that was more stable, that was more practical. Again, there's practicality and impracticality, and I'm going to get more into that, but you can decide what that means for you. And which I did. I realized that, like a real job is whatever in this life, like whatever makes you money, whatever can bring you like the stability and the happiness. And, just it is whatever you make it. You can make money doing anything. And, I was told that people wouldn't buy what I was making, that I was pricing them too high, that I was just like, people wouldn't dare ask what my prices were, like just sort of, again, the subtle jabs like that. And one that I experienced recently was that, of course, I wasn't making daily sales. I was having a conversation with my dad, and, it was just more of me saying, okay, I don't really have like a sale like every day at the time. I was like, I don't have it every day, but I will get bunches of them, and they will make up the sales for every single day, of that week, and it'll just be a bunch of them. So you know, um, it will balance out. But all my dad heard was that I don't make daily sales, and he was like, well, of course you don't. And it was just like that mindset and that thinking that really kept me down for years, and especially the first 4 years of my business. And starting something from excuse me, starting something from zero by yourself without much help and without much knowledge from the people around you who haven't experienced the same thing, it is very difficult, and it can be very, very lonely. And I'm also here to tell you that in addition to that, you can put a spin on that. You can make that work for you, and you can learn. You can also reach out to people, take classes and courses from people who do know their stuff, and who can definitely help you. And as long as you have that determination, you have that willpower, and you have that excitement to do what you want to do and to follow your calling, there's nothing you can't accomplish. And you know again, going back to my experiences, every decision I was making felt like it was, for those people, a direct attack on what they were and what they thought was realistic, just because, they were maybe told something and I was doing the opposite. I was following my ambitions, and, I was still being determined, because for me, there was no other option. This was what I wanted to do, and I wasn't going to settle for anything else. Excuse me, I got a little frog in my throat. And, you know, yeah, if there's anything I've learned from building, a jewelry brand and also this channel, doing something from the ground up by yourself without anyone around me that was I wrote this, effectively helping me in a supportive way. Um, know that your dreams are meant for you to bring to life, regardless of what others say. And like I said, effectively helping me in a supportive way. Like there were times where, people were like, oh, if you need like I felt like there was just like help there, but to the point where it was already preying on my downfall. Like I feel like that's the best way to like put it. But like there wasn't that support, that, thought where it was going to work out for me. There was the thought that it's not going to work out. We're just going to wait for it not to work out, from the other people around me. And that was it. Like if she needs something, maybe like we'll help her, but we're not really going to actively support and push that, and know that it's going to work, and also help it work. So know that, like I said, where was I? Yeah, to go forward with determination every single day, regardless of what others are saying to you, and gather your power, your strength, take your power back from that, and know that you can accomplish anything if anything you want, if you have that faith, that determination, that trust, and that commitment to keep going forward every single day, no matter what anybody's going to say to you, no matter, if you get a bad review. um, all of those times are ways that you can build on your skills and build on what you are creating, the business that you're creating, the brand you're creating, whatever it is. And, whenever those fears are arising, they're just meant to hold you back. They're not meant to help you. Your fears will, again, hold you back if you let them, if you are going to give them that power. But fight them every chance you get, and fight them to the point where they no longer exist in your reality, where you can work past them, and where they don't have any power anymore. They're powerless, and they don't mean anything. And, just because one person has decided to allow their fears to help to keep them from trying and to keep them back, that doesn't mean you have to, too. And I think I've said this before, one person's boundaries do not have to be yours. And you can decide if impossible exists for you. Anything can be possible for you. Again, if you have the drive, if you're willing to build your skills and to learn, to say that I don't know everything, and to build your skill set. If you have those, nothing is impossible for you. And you get to choose the parameters of your skill set. But when those doubts start to creep in, I'm just reading my notes. When those doubts start to creep in, and you start to say things like, I can't do this, it won't work out, they won't care about this, like when you start saying those things out of fear, and you're worried that something won't work out for you, recognize that those thoughts are just thoughts. they're just fears, and you can challenge them. You can, even say those limiting beliefs out loud, like those things that you're thinking. And it makes it a little bit easier to recognize how much they are affecting you. Like if you are thinking before you make a decision, again, this won't work out. If you say that thought out loud, it makes it easier to recognize that fear and to then remove it and to challenge it, and to say the opposite to yourself, because the more you actually practice saying those opposite things, the positive things to yourself, that hey, this can work out. If I put the work in, this has a chance of working out, and it can. I'm going to see this through to whatever capacity. I'm going to keep working on this and make it work. Even yesterday I was like making some pieces, and I was thinking, what, there's no way I can get this out to the post office in time. But I silenced that fear. I sat down, I focused, and I got my work done hours, I think like an hour or two before the post office closed, which was amazing. Like I didn't let that fear win. I didn't let that like anxiety win. And I just sat down, did my work, and got it done. And, I accomplished what I needed to. And let me see where my notes are. Yeah, you can reshape those thoughts, and you can see how they're subconsciously affecting you, and you can make them something that is healthier for you. Because here, like, I'm all about, of course, the authenticity part, but also making sure that you are making decisions that are healthy for you, whatever they are. They don't have to make sense to anybody else, but as long as they make sense to you and they are helping you, that's all that matters. And when you see those blocks appear in your way, face them head on to remove them. And when you find yourself thinking that you can't start a business, for example, because no one is going to care, or another example, you shouldn't post your work because no, it's going to be cringe and that no one's going to want to see it, know that those are just your fears getting in the way. They aren't accurate, and they are just trying to keep you, like your ego trying to keep you in your comfort zone. Because in order to remove those fears and to actually do what you want to do, it's going to take getting out of your comfort zone, which is fine. You can do a little by little. Again, if it's posting your work, you can post it just like once a day. It doesn't have to be, a massive, it could feel like a massive hurdle that you're going over, because that is like something that you're doing that is uncomfortable, but it's going to be worth it no matter what. And know that your audience is out there waiting for you to start sharing your work, to start sharing your messages, what you have to say. And every successful person who's built a platform, the platform that they have now, whatever they have now, they started with 0 followers. They started with nothing. The people that you admire started with nothing, and they grew simply because they were committed to themselves. They were committed to growing. They were committed to, posting once every day, whatever it is, and sharing their work, and sticking to their guidelines, sticking to their goals. And, it's also okay to pivot. I've said this before. It's okay to change your mind, but do it in a way that feels authentic for you, not in a way that you are reacting out of fear, that you want to like, lower your goals or lower your expectations because you have that fear that you're not going to achieve the great one. Set your sights on, the greatest possible outcome, and then see what you can achieve. See what can happen when you put 100% of your effort into that thing. And I think you'll be surprised by how far you can go, how much you can achieve, and what you can actually do. So, if you want to be a chef, go be a chef. If you want to be an engineer, go study, figure out what you have to do to become an engineer, and set those practical, not practical, but like the functional, what do I want to say? Like, just set those steps for yourself. Make those steps, write them down, and the actionable things that you can do. That's what I want to say. um, and study and practice, build your skills to make your passion a reality, to bring that thing into life. Because your dream life can become your reality when you focus and you take that chance on yourself, while also letting things build over time and letting things grow the way they're supposed to. Because sometimes they can take time. It also takes, like, I've been posting on here every single day. And, I post on my other pages every single day for like my jewelry. And I've noticed, I'm reaching greater audiences. I'm getting more follows, or I'm getting more subscribers. I'm reaching more people. And, my work is being seen. But that didn't come with, sitting down and doing nothing. And that also comes from being consistent. Again, posting my work onto Pinterest, growing my followers, growing everything. But that is because I've put that work in. And yes, I will, like, what's the word, schedule things ahead of time. So I don't, I'm not just sitting there posting every day, but that work is being shared every single day. And all of my, everything's going out into the world every single day. And I think that's just like that just works more with my schedule and more with my routine. Like I don't like posting every single day. I don't like resetting. And, it's just my preference. But whatever it is for you, make sure you are just like you're doing a little bit every single day. And, that little bit is going to build up. You're going to build more confidence. Those fears are going to disintegrate. And, you're just going to be left with the confidence and the knowledge that you can do whatever you want to do if you just put the little bit of effort in. And yeah, taking that chance begins with shutting down the fears that tell you that something is too good for you or that you are not worthy, whatever it is that, people were saying to you, people were making you feel like, because those are just fears. They're not a fact. They're not actually how you are, or what you're capable of. And you get to decide what is fact in your life. You get to decide what you're capable of by how you think of yourself and what you want to believe to be true. So speak your desires as if they were fact and take action towards them every single day. Because I'm also going to make another video about this, but the more that we actually talk about what we want as our, what our desires are in the present tense, as if they're actually, happening, and we take those steps every single day to make them come true, that's all you really need. Like that can be so powerful. And again, I'm going to talk more about that. And I think in another video and how that has impacted my life. But when you have, it also gives you like that excitement, and also like sort of putting yourself into that reality can be very, very transformative. It can also show you like what is like possible for you and what you can achieve, what your potential can be. And, before you know it, all of your actions and your words are going to align to create the life that you've always been dreaming of, the life that you've always wanted for yourself. And there goes a piece of paper on the ground, but that's okay. And, because it won't be a dream anymore, it'll just become your lifestyle. And there have been times where even now I'm like, okay, I wanted this to be my life. And now it actually is, like, because I put the work in, over time, and I just let it build, I let it accumulate. And now what I wanted is what I'm living, because the supporters will be there for you. You'll get the supporters that you need. The sales will be consistently rolling in if you're like product based, if you're selling a product or a service. And then you'll be also excited every single day to take on the day as soon as you wake up, because you aren't letting your fears win. And again, when those little things come up, because for me, they still come up a little bit. Like yesterday, I was just like nervous that I wasn't gonna get my pieces out in time to the post office. I silenced that fear and I went ahead with my actions anyway, and I still put things out. I still, made what I wanted to make, and I just honestly I did keep track of the time just to make sure I was doing things diligently, but I still got them done at the end of the day. And know that, when you are not letting your fears win, when you are taking control of your life and of your thoughts, your day-to-day life might also be something that, those people were saying was impossible and, just too far of your reach, but it'll actually be your testimony. That is going to be your I don't want to say revenge, like that's what I was sort of thinking, like your life can be your revenge. But I feel like when we try to take out revenge, it becomes a little bit, more about them and proving something to them. But just know that you are going through this cycle, removing these fears and going through this part of your life for yourself in order to help yourself, because again, that will be your testimony to what is possible and what other people can achieve, because what you have built for yourself will be what others will look up to. And excuse me, sometimes even the same people who are denying you and downplaying you are actually going to later on ask you how you did it and what your secret is or whatever it is, all because you didn't let the blockages control you, because you took that power into your own hands and you decided what you wanted to believe about yourself. You decided what was true. And again, you could have decided, hey, this isn't impossible for me. Anything is possible for me. I can do anything I want to. Because the only person who can tell you what you're capable of is you. Your image of yourself is the only thing that matters. It doesn't matter what other people think you can achieve, whatever box they want to put you in, like that doesn't matter. All that matters is what you think of yourself. So hold on to your passions and your ambitions and charge forward with determination and excitement for what you want to build for yourself. The limit doesn't have to exist if you don't want it to get a little bit mean girls there. Um, but yeah, that is it for today. I hope that was helpful guidance for you to challenge any of those limiting beliefs and fears, and to use them to actually propel you towards your dreams, to actually make them for your benefit. Like, they don't have to control us. We can take control of them and flip the script. So know that I'm here every day giving my guidance and living as your most authentic self, and to connect deeper to your authenticity. If this resonated, if you enjoyed it, leave a like, comment, subscribe, send this to a friend who might need it. Again, I hope this was helpful for you. I hope you stick around. And, if you do, bye for now.